they were cutting half of the undergraduate programs and cutting athletics indefinitely. The freshmen and sophomores were told to transfer out. Like, that was just it, point blank.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the official Emmaus Athletic Podcast, In the Nest. I'm your co-host, Shane Douglas, here with Matthew Tomlinson again.
What? Excuse me?
Lovely Matthew Tomlinson.
Yeah, Matthew grew like a full head of hair.
That's
suddenly.
impossible. Matt can't grow hair. Oh, that was good. That's a great opening. Surprise, Matt. We have Jenna on the podcast today. Jenna, how do I pronounce your last name? I always botch it, and I don't want to...
It is pronounced Lostutter. Believe me,
Lostutter.
A lot of adults and a lot of announcers have mispronounced it. I have been used to it my entire life. It is pronounced Lostutter. It's like pronouncing, like saying the word law, like this is the law, and then stutter.
Lostutter.
Make it together, and there you go.
Today we have Jenna Lostutter on In the Nest today. We got another student representation. Jenna is a senior this year here at Emmaus University, and we're happy to have you on the podcast. She was
Thank you for having me.
You played 3 years for the Emmaus Eagles.
Yes, I did.
For the women's basketball team, and this year was a little struggle.
Yeah.
For you because first semester was fine.
Yes.
But then you had to student teach this semester.
Yes.
So you only really played the home games.
Yeah, the home games and the one away trip I was able to go to, which was the away game at CCCB on February 8th, and that's when I wrapped up my career and sobbed my eyes out for a solid 10 minutes straight. But it also helped that my parents surprised me at that game, and I had no idea because they told me that they were going to watch via live stream. So seeing them there definitely helped. Just helped in general, but also I had my mom to cry on her shoulder because I was just sobbing like crazy because how much I love basketball.
Love to hear that. And that was your last game.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Yeah,
so
I know. Sorry to start on a sad note, but
I know. But we're happy to have you here. We had Mr. Tim Iverson with us last week, and
yes, I saw that.
Matt's been busy. He's been out, and he hasn't been able to make it into the studio to record a podcast. But we'll get him next week, and hopefully it's a happy Matthew. That would be awesome. Because last week was devastating, and then we got this week going into regional play.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today is recapping last week with conference, and then talking about this week, which is starting today. As you're listening to this, with regional play. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's today. Yeah, it is today.
Yeah, the team left today. They will be playing
or Wednesday. They left Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry. No.
Time frames.
It's all right.
Bothering me a little bit or just confusing me a little bit, but we'll be fine.
Left Wednesday.
Yep.
And
playing Thursday and possibly Friday.
In Michigan. Who's home again? Is it Great Lakes?
Yes, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's Great Lakes or Grace. Man. They're right next to each other, so it doesn't matter so much.
They're so close.
Yeah.
It's just like it could be either or.
Either way, thank you guys for listening, tuning in today, especially you, Andy Fessler. Just thinking about you all the time now, listening to our podcast on the couch in your basement. But everyone else, wherever you're listening to us, if you're like Andy in your basement, late at night in the dark, that's great. But if you're on the road, if you're in the office, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. We appreciate the love and the support from you guys, from all you alum, supporters, families, even you students. We notice. So thank you again for making us part of your daily listen or your weekly listen, since it is just a one episode a week. If you want more, let us know. Either way, Jenna.
Yes.
Senior year.
Yes.
Elementary education.
Yep.
How has it been?
It has been crazy busy. Yeah. Like my schedule is always like jam packed, but I'm always getting stuff done, and I always try to find time to get in the Word and still be studying the Bible, even though I may not be doing it for like a grade and stuff like that, but also doing like playing basketball my senior year and still having that opportunity in the second semester as well, even with student teaching and my team being so supportive throughout the whole process. And even Coach Cody with him coming in and just learning, being like, yeah, I'm a senior and I'm still be on the team, but it's just like, I'm not going to be in practice as frequently or coming to all of the games and stuff like that. He's been so supportive as well, awesome. Along with Coach Heather too. Yeah. So it has been so amazing. Like I've had a great senior year, just trying to soak up every single moment within my final months being in college, which is crazy to say, and especially knowing that my brother's coming up soon with him being a senior. Shout out, JJ. I know you. I know you're watching this.
Yeah, John. respond to my text messages. Okay,
He
buddy?
probably won't.
No, he won't. He won't. I'm his admissions counselor for anyways. Either way.
But yeah, my family has been so supportive throughout this whole process as well, and cheering me on everywhere and always watching the live streams. And even my brother just texted me saying, hey, I know that was a rough loss, but I saw you going in there, putting in your best, putting in the work, and I love you, sis. And I was just like, oh. So it meant a lot to me.
Filled with encouragement.
Yes.
Well, Jenna, a lot of people don't know your story a little bit, but I'll tell them a little bit because some people are like, okay, here's this random person on the podcast. Yeah, we get, her name's Jenna. We can barely pronounce her last name. She's a senior. She's loud, etc. Either way, you've had a very interesting story in your college career. Yes. Not necessarily basketball-wise, but just academically, collegiately.
Yes.
Tell us how you got to Emmaus. What was your road? That should be a podcast, Will.
Write it down. Emmaus.
Your road to Emmaus. I guess they kind of have a chapel sermon with that. Their road to Emmaus. Is that what they call it? I don't know. Either way.
I miss being in chapel, I will say.
Same. So short story.
Yes.
As we're here to talk about sports, but to give people a background of one of our student athletes right here, people who you support through watching this podcast, watching the live stream, praying, giving, right here. Tell us your a short story, your road to Emmaus.
All right. So my freshman year, I was at a small Christian college called Lincoln Christian University, or LCU, in Lincoln, Illinois, where I was playing basketball, and I decided last minute through some of my basketball teammates to join the soccer team, which actually, fun fact, the first home game that LCU played, Emmaus was there.
Yeah.
So that was my first catching wind of Emmaus, but I didn't think too much of it. The men absolutely obliterated them 10-0 in the middle of Illinois heat.
You don't need to add that. Don't need to add that. That was a rough patch
Anthony
year.
Caniglio was there. And
it was a rough patch. It was a rough year for the Emmaus soccer team. All right. It was the downslope of the 2018 team just for McHugh to pick it up towards the end, which was, kind of the peak of this last year. Continue.
All right. Aside from that, so on February 22nd, 2022, on all Tuesday, we got a cryptic email saying, hey, you need to meet in the chapel for a mandatory meeting. And all of us are conspiring, trying to figure out what is happening.
What did you think it was?
I genuinely had no idea. I truly didn't know. I was hearing different theories, but I just had no idea. I was just going in there blind and just trying to be whatever happens, it's God's plan.
Alrighty.
And what we were told was they were cutting half of the undergraduate programs and cutting athletics indefinitely, which is sad, because we played our last home basketball game the day before we got this, before that meeting happened. Mm-hmm. So we had played our last LCU basketball game without even realizing it, which was even crazier. So the freshmen and sophomores were told to transfer out. That was just it, point blank. If you were a junior or senior, you were told to stick it out. So of course I called my parents in a panic of being this is happening. And I was sobbing because I had gotten so close with my LCU teammates. And I was just now I have to leave them. What is happening? I don't want to go through this college process again. But they're take a week at least to breathe and try to calm your brain, because I know it's very scattered right now. Trust God in this process. And we will start going through the college process again, in which I did. And I was a little hesitant to go back into basketball, but I decided God was laying on my heart that I wasn't done.
Yeah.
So I was between Emmaus and one other school. I'm forgetting the name. But what drew me to Emmaus was the community. It was the biggest thing for me because of how everyone knew everyone and how you were able to make friends within your program outside of athletics as well. Everyone knew everyone. Yeah. That was a big thing for me, because especially coming from a small private Christian high school, you knew everyone. So that was a big thing for me. The second thing was the academic program. The elementary program I had so many opportunities for that, and being integrated in the classroom every single year was huge for me. And then 3 was basketball. I knew I wasn't done with it. And then the way I was recruited in and just the team welcoming me in with open arms meant a lot to me. Yeah. And even the first Emmaus women's basketball player to message me saying, hey, I'm happy you're on the team, can't wait to play with you, was Maddie Wiest.
Mm.
and I will forever
And you're
remember.
graduating with her too.
I know, and
cool.
I love Maddie Weiss to absolute death.
Yeah.
So, but then again, that's everyone on my team.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my road to Emmaus.
And the rest is history. And
Yep.
you came in, and it's been a good experience so far. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not like, we don't have like threatening her behind the scenes. So
They're not holding me hostage. I promise.
Not at all. No, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And everyone, it's really cool to hear everyone's story, how they came to Emmaus.
Yeah.
But even what they
I didn't
came
even
for.
know Dubuque existed until Sharon reached out to me and said, "Hey, why don't you come up to Dubuque, Iowa, and visit Emmaus for yourself?" And I was like, "Okay."
I've never heard of Dubuque either before I came. But it's first town in Iowa, first west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, and this is the furthest I've ever been away from home because from Dubuque to my home is 5 hours.
Oh, you got me beat.
Yep.
Well, Jenna, now that everyone knows you a little bit more and how you got to Emmaus, they know your major and just everything about you. Let's talk basketball. So, you've been in the program for 3 years. You know the women's team well. You've had 2 different coaches.
Yes.
Sharon Thomason as well as Cody Kennard and the companies that were with them and have experienced many different teammates.
Yes.
And you're graduating this year with a larger senior class. How many seniors are there? So
I genuinely don't know. I think maybe
this is why I miss Matt.
30-ish.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I know the freshman class definitely outnumbers the senior class by a lot, but
Either
I just
way,
don't know.
It's true.
I think it's 30 something, but I could be wrong.
Large freshman class this year. Either way, conference. Let's recap conference real quick. Conference was pretty tough.
Yeah.
For the women's team. Opened up the game. Lost the very first game.
Yep.
Was really tough.
Yeah. Faith is a good competitor, don't get me wrong.
Good.
But it's just like it's depending on how you start and then how you finish. And stuff, definitely things in between.
But I mean, to be fair, lost to Faith in the first round.
Yep.
And Faith went on to win against Ozark.
Yeah, that shocked me when I saw that score. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And I was texting all of my teammates being like, is this for real? Am I in an alternate dimension?
And we got a good relationship with a lot of the Faith coaches. That's where Sharon Thomason coaches now too. So shout out Sharon, and Zach, and all your success. You guys had a great season. Keep it up.
Yes.
Carry it into regionals. But the coolest part of the week for the women's team was the next game.
Yes.
To play for, was it 5th?
No, this is the game before that got us to 5th.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, you guys won the game.
Yes. Which is great to add another W to the column.
And there's a video out there. I believe the video is on our social media page. So go to our social media pages.
Yes.
I know it's on Instagram. It should be on Facebook. I have no idea.
It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. I don't get on Facebook much, so that's why I don't know. But of Maddie Weiss, senior, draining a 3.
Maddie Miracle 3. I'm with titling it that.
And it wasn't a buzzer beater, but it was the dagger. It was a dagger. Putting them up, putting you guys up, 3?
It was tied right before Maddie shot that 3. And when you watch the video back, you see the defense sagging so far off of Maddie. And when you sag off of Maddie, especially when she's on the 3-point arc, I have definitely done this. She will drain it in your face.
And she did. She did in that moment.
Yep.
So shout out to Maddie.
Shout out Mad Dog.
Shout out to Mad Dog right there. Winning the game.
Yes.
And then moving on to the next round, which ultimately lost that one. But
to Manhattan.
And that's okay. But that was a bright spot, winning a game outside of Maranatha this year for our women's team.
Yes.
Giving them 3 wins this season. And the women were very excited, very happy after the game. So,
yes, one of my teammates, Sydney Mulgrew, she was texting me what was going on because I was in the middle of student teaching and teaching lessons, and I was just like, "Wait, what?" Yeah. She's like, "It's tied at 2 minutes." I'm like freaking out. And I was like,
"She's on the bench. She's on the bench texting you." That's
she was sick that weekend.
Oh.
She was sick that weekend, so she and I were on campus. We were watching the Manhattan game in the student center with a few other people.
Okay.
So it was nice to have her in that moment. She was also texting me being like, "How do you do this every single weekend?" And I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. Jesus over here. So yeah.
Fair enough. But shout out to the women's team for pulling off a W and a fun one at that.
Yes.
Fun one at that. So go look at that replay. It was pretty fun and exciting.
It's so beautiful. It makes me smile every time.
The last 2 minutes of that game. So it was pretty it was a thriller.
Oh yeah.
A nail biter.
Oh yeah.
But what are your going into regionals this week.
Yes.
These are going to be the last games of the season.
Which is crazy to even think about that the basketball season is basically done.
Unless they go on the Cinderella run, which has happened with our Emmaus teams in the past. And they go to nationals, which would be
during spring break.
Insane. And I mean, I'm talking about it would be just insane.
Yes.
But how has the season been so far? What's your process? What do you think? The recapping a little bit of the season with conference going into regionals. What's your insight?
I mean, there's always trials and tribulations within every season, whether you have a winning record or a losing record as well. Overall, the season has gone pretty well. We've gotten better as each game has gone on. And even with the changes of like sickness or student teaching or anything that's our
depth.
Depth as well. Like anything that is thrown our way, we've taken it and we're like, all right, this is what we got. We're going to adjust and move on. And one quote that my dad always told me growing up, especially with basketball, losers complain while winners make adjustments. And that has been so impactful. And like we have been constantly adjusting. So we have that winner mentality and we know that we can win. Like we were shocking everyone within the first 2 games against Trinity being like, we were in it. And it's just worth some things that we needed to clean up.
And I'll be fair. Like you guys have been in a lot of the games you played this season.
Yeah. So a lot of those games could have been easily won.
Yeah.
It's just cleaning up some other miscellaneous things.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it comes down to depth a lot. I think that's what really hurt you guys this last weekend at conference was not having the depth on the bench.
Yeah.
People just getting tired, and it's really tough. But Cody, Coach Kennard and company have really put you in a spot to succeed.
Yes.
And from my point of view, from my hearing from you, you guys have that mentality, that sisterhood that is giving you opportunities and encouraging one another to push forward. But like we're talking about depth, this weekend the women's team is traveling to Michigan with only 6 players.
7
now.
7 because it's the starting 5, Destiny and Sydney.
Okay.
So
I was told 6 today, but unless Sydney ended up going on the trip, then
I know Sydney was good to go for this. So
awesome. So 7 players. Yes. So again, depth is going to be another issue this weekend. I mean, they're missing you as well. So hopefully,
sadness.
We'll see what they're able to pull off. The women's team, and we'll get to the men's team, but the women's team is ranked 4th in regional play right now, and they'll be playing against Maranatha, who's ranked 5th.
Yes.
The winner of that game will play against the number 1 seed,
Great Lakes.
Which Great Lakes has swept the 1 seed for regionals this year, both men and women.
Actually, one of my former LCU teammates, she is the starting point guard, and she is playing for them. So she
should have came to Emmaus. Actually, well, I guess she's having success with Great Lakes, so she's fine there.
But she and I have messaged periodically.
Awesome.
So
Emmaus was actually, the women's team was ranked 26th in the nation. Power rankings that just came out Wednesday, which is great, but then 4th in the regional. And we'll able to see what they're able to pull off. Both their wins, or I guess they got 3 wins this season. 2 of their 3 wins this season have been against Maranatha.
It's definitely winnable. And as I was talking to Aaron, Nelly, and Sydney the other night, is that we should win and can win.
Yeah. But Maranatha has a lot of
depth.
And they have poster board material against Emmaus. One being the
underdog.
Underdog. I would even suggest a big poster board of not winning a game against Emmaus this season.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
It puts a lot of pressure on Maranatha for sure. But
coming up and showing out.
Yeah. Being able to, do you want to get swept? Do you want to get swept from Emmaus? I mean, it's pretty rare, right? Right, Will? It's a pretty rare wins we have against Maranatha. Just some average pettiness over here with Shane. Luckily, Matt's not here to add to that.
Yeah, the Winterfest posters were quite hilarious, especially during the Maranatha game.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they were really fun. But we'll see what the women's team can pull off this weekend.
Yes.
So again, the women's team is ranked 4th, playing against Maranatha for a 3rd time this year. Always tough to beat a team 3 times.
Yes.
And then moving on to play Great Lakes.
Yes.
Another thing to note from this last weekend, the women's team won the Sportsmanship Award.
Yes, they did. And Rachel got 2nd team all conference.
There we go. There you go, Will.
There it is.
Thanks for doing that, buddy. Shout out to Rachel for getting 2nd team. Should have gotten first team, but it's okay. It's
Do we
okay.
want to talk about the real, what's the word?
Snub?
Yes, the snub of Nash Harper.
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet for
All right,
Nash.
all right.
We don't. We'll save that for in 2 minutes.
Okay.
But so Sportsmanship Award, which I think
this is the second time that we've gotten it during my time.
You embody it very well. You women are great examples of Christ on the court, off the court, and I think it really shows that. And I'm not trying to be prideful, but it is kind of the
we definitely
trophy.
we definitely are a family on and off the court. Like we're constantly hanging out with each other, and it's not like we're forced to do it. It's like we genuinely want to hang out with each other. Like we had Survivor nights in the
You watched Survivor?
We watched Survivor 2 seasons.
Oh yeah,
because
Maddie's obsessed with it.
Yes,
Survivor season
Survivor
48
night,
comes out. Well, at the time of this recording, it comes out last night, Wednesday night.
Yes,
but I look forward to watching Survivor. Big fan of Survivor. So if you see me, talk to me about Survivor. I love it.
So we had Survivor night. We even just do homework together, eating dinner together.
Yeah.
There was even a time where all of us would just sit in a row in chapel. Like we would just all sit next to each other. We really are a sisterhood and
and that reflects on the court and how you treat other teams.
Absolutely.
And it's why you really see a lot of the teams that win the Sportsmanship Award being Emmaus or Faith, Calvary.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was on a soccer team as a manager, we would always fellowship with Calvary before the game, sing worship songs. And I've said that many times on this podcast. And it's this something special. It goes beyond the court, beyond the game, beyond the field. And it's more. It's more than a game.
Absolutely.
And so it's great. But either way, good luck to the women this weekend.
Good luck. I love you guys.
Do you know what time they play?
I unfortunately do not. This is one of the rare times where I actually don't know what time, because again, it's in a different time zone because they're in Michigan and we're here in Iowa. So it's just this is the one time I genuinely don't know, but I know they are playing Thursday and possibly Friday.
I got that right here.
There we go.
So women's team, make sure to go to either Great Lakes. Where are they at? Yeah. Go to Great Lakes website or YouTube page to try to find the streaming. They will play Thursday. So tonight, Thursday, February 27th at 4 p.m. Eastern time, because it is Eastern time. So 3 p.m. for us here in the Midwest in Iowa. So 4 p.m. Eastern time, game 1, Emmaus University against Maranatha Baptist. So you can either go to Great Lakes YouTube page or social media. Our social media will probably post it as well. And you can also find it on the NCCAA website and go to regional finals. It should be updated with the live video link. So make sure to check that out. That'll be fun. And support the Eagles. Support your Emmaus Eagles, the women's team.
For the final games.
Final games of the season. Well, let's move on to the men's team. And how they fared this last week at regionals, which wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
I got kind of the insight from Aaron from what was going on, because I was seeing these scores and I was like, is everything okay? What the heck is happening?
Aaron McKenna, one of the players.
My E. Yeah. So I was asking her, being like, what is happening? Is everything okay? And she was kind of telling me, so I was like, oh, that does factor into that.
In an appropriate podcast way, what were some of the things?
What I was hearing was a lot of injuries were happening.
Yep.
I heard Landon Jacobus. I heard Collier.
Yep. So Collier wasn't able to play against the first in the first game. So for the listeners, if you remember last week, we were playing against Central in the first round, which is a team that is very beatable. We beat by 10 this season. We did lose to them at home. We split in the regular season, but a team we should be beating. And lost them in the first round, only by a couple. They did run away. It
was a hard fight.
Yeah, they definitely ran away with it through free throws and towards the end of the game.
I think so, yeah.
But Collier sat out the entire game. His I think it was his ankle.
I think so.
Or his knee was hurt, so he didn't play at all, which really hurt the team, really hurt the athletic ability and driving to the paint as well as the shooting. So Collier was out. And the thing is, like, we still have the talent without Collier on the court to finish that game. It's just, I don't know. It
could have been just easily as an off night because we all have our good nights and our bad nights as well.
It's like you said, it went beyond Collier's injury. There were a lot of others. I mean, and that's.
And that was within the second game, too, that they played. There was another injury that I was told about. And I was
Tatum got hurt in the second game, and so they weren't able to finish, which is sad. But then also they had their mindset on regionals and not finishing fifth.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep your eye out on is, it's to answer your question of how did we lose to Central, how do we lose to Barclay, etc. A lot of it has to do with how our eyes set on regionals.
Yes.
But also lots of injuries. Lots of injuries. The team and the coaches will say, of course, to the press, I'm the media, they'll always say that they aren't going to give up. They're going to put 100% in the game. And they definitely did. They definitely did. But,
absolutely.
But when you got half the team that is injured, you're going to be babying.
It's going to be even more an uphill kind of fight. Especially that's what happened my first year with Maddie tearing her ACL and another ACL tear, and it going from like 8 to 6 within a matter of minutes.
And a fun story, when they were on their way to the conference tournament, the Van Diesel, the bus they take, the door broke again, which was a story we've shared a couple weeks ago about the door breaking.
This is new information to me, so I'm just as shocked as y'all are.
For all you guys know, right now I think the men's basketball team is 0-2 or 0-3 when the door is broken on away trips. So I haven't checked.
They had their van break down at 1 a.m. in Kansas City, and we had to cram some of them in. That was a fun night. I was in that van for that. That was crazy.
That's great. And I mean, we'll see. I got to reach out to Matt, see if the van door broke. I don't think it did. I'll text him right now and ask him if the van door broke. And we'll know if they're going to win this weekend or not.
I would like them to win to add another W to the column because obviously I want the Emmaus Eagles to win. But again, in tournament play, as we have seen, you never know what to expect.
This is true.
Well, I'm sure CCCB wasn't prepared for us to win, so.
No, not at all. And Central went on to play against Ozark. Ozark won, and they went to the finals play against Manhattan, and Manhattan ended up winning the whole thing. So both Ozark's men and women's team made it to the championship, but both lost, which sucks. I feel bad for Ozark in that way.
Yeah, because they were, I think, on a two-peat.
Yep, they were.
For the women's side, at least. For the men, I think they upset Manhattan last year because they were the underdog.
Yep, this is true.
So.
Well, some spotlights of this last weekend for the men is that Tatum got first team all conference.
Where's the Eagle at?
Come on, Will. There we go.
There it is.
And then this is what you're referencing is Nash getting second team all conference, which is really tough. Give him the Eagle.
Snubbed.
He did get snubbed. He should have gotten first team. He should have gotten an honorable mention, actually. I'm joking. Collier getting an honorable mention, which, I mean, that goes to... Come on. What are you doing, Will? Collier getting an honorable mention, which tells you a lot of his play this season.
Yes.
And the fact that he was not able to play against Central or in the conference tournament, says a lot of shows why the team wasn't able to pull through on some of those games.
The instant impact that they've had is insane. Like, I was there to witness their scrimmage against Clark JV, I think it was. Just seeing the instant impact that they had, I was like, these are some good freshmen. Like, this is crazy. I can't wait to see what happens in actual games, like actual legitimate, we're keeping score and stats. Like, this is cool.
No, if we can be able to retain a lot of these players for the men's team next year, it's going to be a dangerous team to watch, especially with some of the recruits, Lord willing, next year.
Yes.
But also, I'm sorry I'm drinking Diet Coke. This is actually Matt's.
I should have brought the new bubbler flavor.
This is
I'm
funny.
slacking.
This is Matt's last Diet Coke. He has a couple mini Diet Cokes in his mini fridge upstairs. I took it, Matt. Don't tell anyone.
Live evidence of the culprit.
He's got to watch the episode.
Live evidence of the culprit.
You gotta watch the episode to find out who took your last one. It was me.
I should have brought the new bubbler flavor, but that's a different story.
So when it comes to now, let's move on from conference. That's pretty much the highlights of that.
Mm-hmm.
Regionals.
Yes.
It's really matched up well with the women's seeding. There is no reseeding in a tournament for regionals. So if you are the 5, so we are the 4 seed for men's and women's. It doesn't matter if the 6th seed wins or not. For women's, there is no 6th seed, but for men's there is. So if Moody Bible Institute being ranked 6th, they will play Grace, which is ranked 2. Okay. Even if Moody wins and pulls off the upset, we at Emmaus, if we win against Maranatha, we will still play the 1 seed, not the lower seed in the next round. So there's no reseeding. And how it's seeded, everybody is Emmaus will play against Maranatha as the 4 and 5 seed, Emmaus being 4, Maranatha being 5, and the winner of that game will play Great Lakes, no matter what. And then on the other side of the bracket, Moody against Grace being the 2 seed, Moody being the 6 seed. Winner of that game will play the winner of the Great Lakes and game.
Yes.
So whoever Great Lakes plays, then they'll play the winner. So I mean, I guess Moody has an easy road. If all they got to do is beat, they don't really have an easy road, but all they got to do is beat Grace.
I was about to say,
and they play less games.
Yeah.
But that's kind of crazy to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, same thing falls with the men's team, playing against Maranatha.
Yep.
3rd time this season.
Yep.
Maranatha is a team that has our number, Jenna.
Yes.
They always, it doesn't matter what the stats are this year. It doesn't matter what the roster is compared player to player. Maranatha has Emmaus' number all the time, and they match up very well, and it's going to be a very competitive game.
Yeah, and for both men's and women's too. Like both the games have been so competitive and such high level of power and energy. Like it has been so fun to like even just watch and play in those games. Like I have loved playing against Maranatha. Like they have been so fun. Sure, I'm a very competitive person. My dad can attest to this. And like playing against Maranatha brings out my competitive side, but at the end of the day, being like, it's a game and we're ultimately just glorifying Christ in all that we do. So,
and I love that. And that's something that we want here at Emmaus is to represent
absolutely.
Christ. So we'll play against Maranatha. That will be a really tough game, just a really tough game. And hopefully we can honor Christ on the court, get a win and move on to play Grace and see what we're able to do. Something to keep in mind, those injuries from last week are still issue for our men's team today. We have 6 injured on the team, some more severe than others. Will's shaking his head in disappointment in the back.
Believe me, I'm doing that right now, but just internally.
It's just really sad to see this talented team be so shaken up and injured this late in the season.
Yeah.
At a critical time.
Very.
So hopefully they're able to rest up, stretch those legs on the bus ride to Michigan.
I don't know if you can really stretch in a cramped vehicle, but I digress.
Maybe eat carrots like Coach Parker. He loves his baby carrots. And pull out a win, you know, maybe get to the championship, play Grace or Moody. Would love that, but they got to make it past Maranatha first. So they will be playing Maranatha on Friday, I believe. Yes, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
So that is 6 p.m. our time.
Yes. So 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central time. Emmaus against Maranatha. You can find the game the same way you would find the women's game, either on the NCCAA website or Great Lakes YouTube or athletic page. And then also just keeping in touch with Emmaus' social media. You should be able to find it. Okay. But again, no reseeding. We'll see what the men and the women are able to do this weekend. But this will be it for winter sports coming to a close.
This is crazy.
It's exciting. Hopefully the men and the women can pull off some upsets, pull off some wins. I remember a couple years ago when the men's went on their Cinderella run.
Yes.
I was at a conference, which I'm going to be at that same conference this weekend. And it was crazy. Like the conference actually put it up on the big screen before the message, and everyone was cheering on Emmaus.
I was also there at that conference.
You were there, Will?
I remember that, yeah.
Wasn't that cool?
That was awesome.
I love that. That's fantastic.
It was. So it was a conference at a church, and the church is really close to Emmaus. So there's
gotcha.
A lot of Emmaus grads that attend that church. But Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
They won it all, or they won regionals, which is, I think, our only regional win. Second regional win in Emmaus history. But I think it is our only. Yeah, second. I think it's our second.
Yeah, you've been here for all of that. I have not.
So it'd be cool to get another one. Bring home a banner, guys. That's what we want.
Let's go.
But the men and the women, women need to clean up the turnovers, but it's going to be tough with depth.
Yeah.
And the men, honestly, just really pushing past injuries.
Yeah.
And not live or die by the three. That has kind of been the motto for the men this year. Live and die by the three.
Yeah.
Really showed in a lot of the games they lose.
All you have, I know it sounds simpler than it may seem, especially in a men's game. It's just like shot, fake, and drive. It's like when you drive the lane and the defense collapses on you, you can easily chuck it out to get like a much cleaner and much more settled and in control three.
Yep.
If you find like Collier or Tatum or Nash, like you can find them if they're settled and in control, they can knock that down.
Or Eli or Will or Josh.
Absolutely.
Those are our sharpshooters.
I apologize for getting them because
those are our sharpshooters on the team. And that's the thing that I've been saying to Matt all season to some of the guys is they are a team that can drive.
Yes.
They choose not to. Of course, we don't have the big in the paint like we did when Tyrus was here.
Yes.
But it don't matter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We have a team that can shoot the three.
Yes.
But people forget about us in the paint. So this is the game. This is the weekend to finally drive in the paint because everyone's expecting us to make the threes, to go for the threes first on the men's side of things. But we'll see what they can pull off. Obviously, we've had a good track record this year against Maranatha, but Maranatha's got a good poster board to put up in their locker rooms and have a lot of reason to play hard.
Yes, because they have nothing to lose and everything to gain, especially playing against
100%.
us. 100%. Especially with them being so close to us too.
I know. I mean, I think any player would agree to this, is that they would rather lose to a team twice in the regular season just to beat them in the tournament.
Yes.
I think any player would do that. Yeah. Obviously, you would move on in a tournament. So, well, pray for the team.
Yes.
Support them. Listen in. Watch the live stream. Keep in touch. We appreciate you guys for listening. Jenna, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. And I will say I have definitely enjoyed my time at Emmaus, both academically and athletically as well. So if anyone out there that is a high school student, like junior or senior year, wanting to think of a college that is Christian based and like it's so Christ centered in every single major, where you will grow inside and outside of the classroom with your professors. And if you want to join a team that is so Christ centered and a family, come to Emmaus. I know he did not pay me to do this. This is all my own words and other things, but I have loved my time at Emmaus, and I still cannot believe that we're wrapping up within a few months.
I know. And it's just starting to get fun.
I know.
Just starting to get fun.
But yeah.
But thank you for that.
Family.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think everyone else does as well.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. Thank you for making us part of your day, everybody. And I got nothing else for you other than it's a great day to be an Eagle.
Amen, brother.
See you next week.